In the distant future, vampires rule the night, but their numbers are dwindling. One podcast is unlike all the others. Half human, half vampire. This is Lefty Speaks, the official podcast for Vampire Hunter D.
Hello, hunters. Welcome back to Lefty Speaks, the Vampire Hunter D podcast. I'm Scott McLean, producer for the project from Unified Pictures, and with me again are Neal Fischer and Brandon Easton. So today, we are going to be digging into a part of the Vampire Hunter D universe that I think a lot of people will recognize as it's woven throughout the whole thing, the occult and mysticism part of it. So I'm going to let Neal dig into that to start, to give us a little bit of background on what we're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, as he had mentioned, occult is a huge aspect in the Vampire Hunter D franchise, the books, the novels, characters, and it's woven in my opinion, in a wonderful way of world building. So it's actually an in-depth part of the culture, and every aspect of the Vampire Hunter D universe. And I mean, for me, I'll just jump right in because when I living in Japan, and I kind of discovered Vampire Hunter D when I was living in Japan, and I was just so fascinated with every aspect of it. So I went to Tokyo and I went to the big bookstores there, and there I also found this. So Amano this is a tarot deck from the artist Amano, who also does Final Fantasies. It's not just exclusively Vampire Hunter D, but obviously for Vampire Hunter D fans, he is, like the epitome. He's what we've kind of come to know as the artist. And so I bought Amano art books, and I just went a bit obsessive, to be honest, about it. And so I just wanted to show you guys. So we're talking about the potentially having a Vampire Hunter D tarot deck, and that would be inspired, informed by the world of Vampire Hunter D. And the great thing about it is that we're doing this together, right? So we have a Patreon and we have a Discord. So this is a great way for our community to be storytellers with us and create this cool Vampire Hunter D tarot deck together. But here's just a few of the pieces from the Amano deck. Let's see. Hopefully these can be seen well on the screen. But yeah, they just, and of course I didn't really use this deck very much because I thought it was too pretty. Yeah, there's this just if you have any of Amano's books, you can see, and these are it is, just like anything, any tarot deck, it came with a big instruction manual, and it was all in Japanese, so that was great for me to study the language. We can have, like right now, just the world is completely open to us in what we want to do. And obviously there are some obvious places which we're going to talk about, like some cards are going to they speak for themselves. But then there's others that there might be some fun discussion as to what we include and how we express the Vampire Hunter D world in the tarot deck. And of course, the other great thing is that tarot decks have a really, really long history. Some people would say that they really originated in ancient Egypt, right? And we can discuss, that's also what we're going to touch upon, the history of tarot decks itself. But there's really a lot of room for us to grow and build together a tarot deck. So I know I don't want to take up all the conversation here. So
So we've built a spreadsheet. It is very, very bare bones. So, very black and white. We'll share that so that everybody can have a look at, what we've put together some basic guidelines. Quick caveat on what we've put down as ideas and suggestions. We've only pulled our ideas from the first couple of novels in the series. So we would love for everybody to weigh in on what do you think from the franchise could represent the different cards. So we'll be sharing, so you can take a look at this, the list of cards and our ideas for the major arcana, and for the minor, what we typically think of as your standard poker deck minus the jokers. We put down, members of the Marcus family from Demon Death Chase / Bloodlust as the ideas for the four cards with art, not counting the numbered cards. And then we've also put together a list that walks through what are the different elements and symbols typically associated with each card. This is not an exhaustive list. We can't go through every iteration throughout the whole history of tarot. That's just impractical and a little overwhelming for what we're going for brainstorming here. Mm-hmm. So if there's elements on there you think should be, add that as part of your feedback and to the brainstorming, and we'll go from there. We want this to be a bit of a collaborative idea sharing process that we can all have fun with. It's, in my mind, one of the things I've loved about looking through different artistic representations of tarot that I've seen people use in explanations of what tarot is and how it came about is people who have made art that leaves out some of the symbols on a card or changes them slightly, like one where it's traditionally a lion. Well, I've seen representations of the animal being a dragon or a bear, for example. So I would say don't see this as hard limitations, but ideas and guidelines to help shape how we explore this.
Well, that's actually the fun thing in this, right? I mean, the fun thing is that some of our community are going to be purists, and they're like, well, I have 30 tarot decks. I know that the history of tarot decks. I do readings. I got my great grandfather's tarot deck. Blah blah, all that stuff, and that's great. I mean, that is great input for us because, as much as I've been doing tarot card reading since I was in college, I'm by no means an expert. I'm a fan, not an expert. and I've got maybe 20 tarot decks. I've got like a Viking inspired tarot deck, and I've got a ukiyo-e inspired tarot deck. Things like that. And some are used, and some are just sitting on shelves for show. But again, I don't know everything about tarot decks, and so it's great that people in our community will know a lot about tarot decks, and so they can help inform us. But then there's also going to be people that are just really, true fans of Vampire Hunter D, and maybe they have other tarot decks that they have that did different things with their tarot decks. I mean, like I was just talking to the guys about, I just saw an advertisement for a Fallout tarot deck, which I'm like, that sounds a little weird. But then you think about, like, well, there are different factions, and those factions can be, the different suits, right? And then obviously you have main characters. So it could be really interesting. And they were advertising it as something that it could be used for traditional tarot reading, but that they're also, it seems like they're going to have like another like kind of fun, easy game built into the cards as well. So there's lots, and obviously then you can just use it as card games like all poker and everything else if you really wanted to. So there's a lot of fun opportunity here.
If you look behind Brandon and Neal, some of the artwork they've displayed, it's comics, cover art. This, people familiar with it will know that there are 22 major arcana cards in a tarot deck. Well, we're working on a 20-issue comic book run adaptation of a full novel. So there will be variant covers to go across the whole series with, since there's 22 major arcana, 2 bonus covers. We'll cover in the future how you'll get access to them, but this series, keep in mind, when you are suggesting ideas for things that would be turned into art, these will be also not just a tarot card, but a cover set covering the entire adaptation for this next series.
Yeah, and he said, Neal, earlier, you said community. One of the things I was really impressed by was how quickly the Patreon members received their Justice Vampire Hunter D Terror Art poster. And I was just blown away by, first of all, how beautiful it is by Christopher Shy, but also how quickly these things were distributed. And I feel like this is yet another incentive for folks to like come together, get on the Patreon, and support, because somebody on the Discord showed the fact that they had received it, and that blew me away. I hadn't even been aware that those had gone out that quickly. So I feel that, you know, this is yet another example of how our community can get some really cool merch that does not exist anywhere else. And in fact, one of the things I want to do, if possible, is to do a brand new banner with the Christopher Shy art, with like a Vampire Hunter D logo somewhere on it, because I feel like that's just eye-catching and it's original. And that's the other thing about it. No one else on Earth is doing this except for us. You know, there's not going to be some kind of crazy run of people doing Vampire Hunter D tarot cards. It's going to be us. It's going to be beautiful covers. And I feel like that is something people really are going to gravitate toward and should look forward to, because I am looking forward to it. And I'm not as conversant about tarot art as, you know, everybody else here, but I do like good art and beautiful art, and I love Vampire Hunter D art. So this is going to be a whole new thing that people can connect with, and I feel like yet another reason to jump on the Patreon.
Yeah, and also as a fan, you know, for me, I'm excited about this because I want those collectibles too, right? I mean, it's my you know, it's our team, it's our Patreon, but I want them too. And so it's like I look back at like when people are sharing like some of the statues and things like that, I'm so envious of some. It's like, wow, because I was super busy making movies for a while, I totally had no connection. You know, like I was developing Vampire Hunter D, but for a film, but I wasn't looking at what some of the collectibles that were coming out, and I'm like, I see some really cool stuff that I don't have, so I'm very jealous. So this is just another opportunity to say, hey, join our Patreon, join our community, and make sure that you don't miss out. You know, and there's lots of different levels in which you can join. And the other thing is that when I was working with AEG, Alderac Entertainment Group, on the Legend of the Five Rings, one of the things that our team was so proud of was that the community was really the driving force in where the next expansions went. So it was all based on tournaments, right? And so the players would choose what, you know, were they a part of the Lion Clan? Were they part of the Dragon Clan? Were they Shadowlands? And based on their choices, their builds, and who won the tournament, and what cards they used in the tournament to win, that would determine what the next expansions were and what changes happened in the Legend of the Five Rings Rokugan world setting. And so that's something that I'm excited that we can do here, starting you know, on a smaller scale, but with the tarot deck.
Yep, and I want to say thank you for the first couple of people on the Patreon who got the bonus art print for doing the annual subscription, and for being kind of the guinea pigs, because that got us out doing the print tests of what works for this art. You know, how do we want to make these? And so now there's a whole stack of them that have been made. And one of the things that I'm excited about with this adaptation as we go forward, we'll be able to announce there are going to be some additional perks added to a number of the Patreon tiers that I'm hoping once we get a little further along in production, we'll be able to announce, so that there will be no change in the prices of the tiers, just that there are a number of the tiers that will get new things added to them.
More goodies.
So, yeah. And for me, I'm having fun as we work to, just add more to the universe. If you will, the story or, stories have come to life in our imaginations. And I love a good adaptation and being able to appreciate the book and the changes made to the adaptation. Like we've talked before how in the first book to the first movie, one of my favorite parts were the side characters of the Fiend Corps. And, one of those side characters that got dropped that you see in the movie is just, a very side character is the witch. Hence, the theme of the occult being through the entire franchise. And when I look at it from a perspective of a fan enjoying the story, like, man, I wish they could have got that into the movie and kept the characters a little closer to what was in the book. And then when I look at it from the hat professionally, putting the filmmaker and producer hat on, I'm like, I completely agree with the choices they made, because when you look at the book to the movie and you see what you've got for time condensation, you have to squeeze it down. You're like, okay, that makes complete sense. So here we've got the chance at creative freedom. We don't have any constraint on, okay, we can only pull from ideas from this book, or we can only talk about things that will fit in this small box because either production budget or just you can't release a 4-hour movie. It's gonna turn people away from watching. So we would love for everybody to just join us in, what do we want for a tarot deck? What are your ideas? Pull from different aspects of the story, the franchise, be it monsters or characters. Though, please, when you do so, and we'll largely host this on our Discord. We'll make a channel for it. Don't go into a bunch of spoilers for the story that you're pulling from. Not everybody will have read all the books. And, with the recent push, let's keep everybody with a chance to be able to enjoy the books as we go. So please weigh in, give us your ideas, and we look forward to discussing with you on Discord. Check out our links that are all over the place. It is discord.gg/vampirehunterD is the name of the server. So hopefully you all can find it, and would love to talk to you then. Thank you kindly. Happy hunting, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you for listening to Lefty Speaks, the official Vampire Hunter D podcast, hosted by Brandon Easton, Neal Fischer, and Scott McLean. This podcast is created by Unified Pictures and 9 Realms. Narration by Evallen-Muller. Recording and editing by 9 Realms. Produced by Scott McLean and Ian E. Muller. Based on the works created by Hideyuki Kikuchi. Happy hunting!